Hey guys, Shamar here. Welcome to our next segment of Mindset Story. So I have a pretty good story for you guys. I heard this story a few years ago, but one of my brothers in Christ, Joseph, I heard him share it recently, and I'm like, how did I forget about this story? So I got you guys. So obviously, like you saw, eagles and chicken, right? So the story goes like this. There was this farmer who had a farm, right? And he was taking care of the chickens and all that good stuff. And all of a sudden, this eagle egg, I think it fell out of the nest, right? But the thing about it is that the timing couldn't be perfect because in the same moment when the eagle head egg fell out, it got mixed with some chicken eggs, right? And obviously, they don't want to notice it, but when he noticed it, the egg started to hatch. You get what I'm saying? So I'm like, oh, the timing couldn't be more perfect, right? So the egg hatched, and it's a case where he's like, hey, you know what? Let me keep it here. Let me keep it here, right? And all of a sudden, the eagle started to hang out with the chickens, and you guys know how chickens are, right? They walk around the clock and make all this noise, and they eat a bunch of random stuff. They were just doing their thing. They're just doing their thing, right? And fast forward to, like, I guess you could say probably a couple years, right? A couple months, right? He's hanging out. The eagle's hanging out with his chicken buddies, right? And all of a sudden, he saw this big old bird in the sky, and the big old bird glided in the air, and he's like, "Wow, that's pretty cool." Because as you guys know, that's technically how chickens feel when they see eagles. They're like, "Yo, I wish God made me that kind of bird." So in his mind, he was like, "Yo, I wish God made me that way," right? And obviously, there were some other chickens that were looking at him like, "Bro, you'll never do that." And he looked at them and he's like, I guess you're right. And then he just went on living his life, right? Now, what's the moral of the story? I'm sure you guys get where I'm going, and if you guys don't get where I'm going, I'm going there right now. So the mindset of the story, or the moral of the story, is your association. Listen, guys, the guy was an eagle. Eagles are one of the top birds out there. Eagles are one of the top birds out there, and if you don't know, look it up. I'm sure you guys know. I'm sure it's basic common sense. Like, eagles are like one of the top birds out there. But again, my boy, he didn't know that he was the top dog out there. He didn't know that. So how is that correlating to you now? You might be, and I feel like you are. I feel like you're the you're the big dog. You're the you're the, how do I put this down? Your life has a lot of purpose. Your life has a lot of your life is gonna make a lot of impact on other people's life. But again, you have to, like, activate it and get your life together and you know use that gift that you were given. But if you're hanging around with chickens, you're gonna go through your whole life not knowing what's inside of you. Now, again, I don't want to make it into a Christ talk, but I feel like God is in everything. But yeah, God made you for a reason. He made you for a purpose. You're here for a reason. You're here. If you're watching this video right now, if you're watching this video, you're here for a reason. You wasn't a mistake. Now, granted, maybe your parents didn't plan for you, but hey, God knew that. God knew that before it happened. You get what I'm saying? Right? You're here for a reason. You're here for a purpose. Now, my challenge to you is find out what that is. Find out what that purpose is. Find out what that purpose is. Because I think they said that you're born twice. The first time is when you come out, right? The second time is when you know why. But you're here for a reason. You're not a mistake. You're not a mistake. Hear me? You're not a mistake. You're not a mistake. So again, stop hanging around with those chickens. That's what I want to emphasize, that point. Stop hanging around the chickens and go find you. Obviously, find who you are first. Like, find who you are inside. And sometimes it takes a minute. Maybe you have to find the eagles first to be able to fully activate yourself, right? Or you're like me, where you have to find yourself, and then you find, those people who are who you could follow and who you could model your life and your dreams after. You get what I'm saying? But again, stop hanging around with those chickens. Stop hanging around with those chicken heads. You get what I'm saying? Because you're an eagle. All right? And that's so funny because my podcast is called Eagle Podcast. But again, we'll talk about it at a later time. All right? Have a good night, guys. All right? Bye.